We're back for the Loose Wheel Podcast episode number 5. I'm
Yes,
Andrew.
sir.
That's
Five
Ethan.
already.
You have anything to say, Ethan?
No, just thank you to everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. And
Yeah.
let's get into the racing.
There was a lot of good racing and bad racing happening this weekend. Martinsville, there was a lot of wrecks in the Xfinity series. Officials for NASCAR spent time Saturday night and Sunday morning cleaning the track because there was so much carnage. Officials also had to go to the Walmart Saturday night to buy out all the Tide because there was that much wrecks. And didn't do something a little different here. So we're going to go back to a previous episode and hear what I said about a prediction that I made for the Martinsville races. I'm going to go with the bold prediction. There will be at least one beef this weekend. And that I will also say that beef will not lead into a fight.
Okay. So just like a shouting match or something.
Shouting match, one driver criticizing another in some way. Maybe a helmet toss. Though there's going to be something this weekend. And I do believe it. I'm going to go a step further and say it's going to be between a playoff driver and another playoff driver in one of the series. All right. So yeah. I was right with that prediction. I didn't expect it to happen twice. And I didn't also have it going between teammates. But so there was two of them. Well, let's talk about the smaller beef first. Between Chandler Smith and John Hunter Nemechek, currently teammates in Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series. Nemechek's going up to Cup next year. Smith is staying in Xfinity but moving to a different team. There were multiple instances of contact on the restart. And then Chandler Smith said, oh, he won't be a teammate to me next week. I'm not going to race him like a teammate. So what I'm thinking of with Chandler Smith thinking, he's not going to wreck Nemechek. He's not going to do that. But he's going to race him hard. And let's not forget that Chandler Smith won or Sammy Smith, not Chandler Smith. Well, there's too many Smiths in NASCAR, but Sammy Smith he did win the Xfinity race at Phoenix earlier this year. So he might be a driver that will contend. Do you have anything to weigh in, Ethan?
No, I just think it's absolutely insane that you actually predicted that.
And then Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed. So this is on 2 laps to go. Hill hits Creed on the initial restart. And Hill kind of washes into Creed into 2. Hill was on the bottom. Creed was up top. And then Creed cedes the position. And Creed bumps Hill into 3. Didn't move him out of the way. And Creed then bumped Hill into 1. Got him side by side. And at this point, Creed needed to win to get in. Hill, at this point, could have pointed his way in, but I don't know if the team had told him that. And then Hill lightly slammed Creed, door slammed Creed on the back straightaway. And going into 3, Creed washes up. Hill hits the back of Creed. I can't tell whose fault it was on that one. And then there's a bunch of calamity. Nemechek gets into Hill. There's a big pile up, and then Justin Allgaier got by Sheldon Creed to win. And Hill and Creed expressed frustration with each other in interviews. And Hill he'll just name drop Creed is driving for Gibbs next year, which Gibbs has not confirmed that, or neither has Creed, because Jesse Love will be driving the 2 car next year, not Sheldon Creed for Richard Childress Racing. And then shortly later, Andy Petrie, the competition director at Richard Childress Racing, goes up to Creed and yells at him. And then I think he said, "You're so stupid," or "Why are you doing that?" And Creed says to something like, "If the roles are the reverse, you guys wouldn't care." And then owner Richard Childress goes on to say, "I've had drivers drive for me, but nobody as stupid as Sheldon Creed."
That's a crazy thing to say.
That is a crazy thing to say. And this is, I will say,
like that's actually wrong
yeah,
to say about your own driver.
I mean, even though he's not going to be racing with you next year, that's just a bad look for the team. And
yeah, like,
there's a
I
bunch
don't.
of
If
other
I'm a driver, I don't want to drive for a guy that says stuff.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of other drivers that you can say are stupider. Both of the Dillon brothers, even though Richard Childress would disagree because they're his grandkids, but they've done some stupid things. Johnny Sauter, I don't remember his time at RCR, but he's not the coolest head in the garage. Brian Scott, who at his time in RCR, Eric Amarola said, Brian Scott has never seen a wreck that he didn't want to drive into.
That's another insane quote.
I don't know if that was a direct quote, but that was something along the lines of that. And then
that was the general message.
Yeah, Robbie Gordon, who was always pulling some shenanigan on the track. I mean, I don't know this to be true, but there's probably a video on YouTube of Robbie Gordon shenanigans in NASCAR, and it's probably at least 15 minutes long, because I can think of him versus Michael Waltrip. That was a big one. And then the whole race at so the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, that was an interesting race. And then also another terrible driver that drove for him, Joe Graff Jr., who failed to not qualify in an RCR equipment, which is arguably some of the best equipment in the Xfinity series, easily top 10 equipment, and you fail to not get in the race with that. It amazes me. It amazes me. I don't know about you, Ethan, but it amazes me.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. But I will let's move on to who did make it into the final four. Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek, and Cole Custer. I mean, I will say Austin Hill's probably been the best driver all year, but I do. Nemechek, Custer, and Allgaier have had great whole years, and then Mayer, who's had a great second half ever since Road America. He's been driving really well, so it'll be interesting to. We'll talk about that later. And then the Cup race happened at Martinsville, which there was a couple interesting things happening. Chase Elliott led for a little bit. Got my hopes up, and then was passed by Eric Almirola, who I would have not minded seeing Eric win in his second to last Cup race. I would have liked to see that feel good story, but he was just on his strategy didn't work. Ryan Blaney didn't pass him, and then another interesting thing: rubber debris from the track damaged the wiring harness to the fuel pump, disabling the pace car.
Jeez.
A pace car break. I've seen pace cars run out of fuel in series, but I haven't seen this. So this was a chaotic weekend at Martinsville. Yeah. I mean, and Ryan Blaney won the race. So, I mean, as Blaney is my second driver, and I was happy to see him win. So let's talk about something less chaotic in the F1 race at Mexico City. Ethan, take it away.
Well, there's still plenty of chaos. You got the lap one, turn one incident where Sergio Perez took himself out of the race. Kind of a racing incident between himself and Charles Leclerc, but probably more so on Checo. Trying to be aggressive at his home race, trying to put himself into a good position, but it definitely did not work out for him. We saw some other DNFs, including a big crash from Kevin Magnussen, where that was a big hit that his Haas took. It was I believe like rear suspension failure or something like that that caused him to just go into the wall at what was really a big impact. That brought out a red flag for a while. Magnussen is thankfully okay, which when he first hit the wall, and he was kind of slow, not slow to get out, but he was definitely shaken up a little bit from the impact. I wasn't sure if he was okay or not, but thankfully he is. Um, but yeah, just a quick recap. Very dominant Verstappen. Well, it was another Verstappen victory. He had to do a little more work than previous races. He wasn't starting on pole and all that, but he had a nice weekend. Lando Norris really was the star of the race because he came through all the way from the back of the field, had amazing race pace. Had a terrible second restart after that red flag and still ended up charging through the field once again to finish fifth. So ahead of his teammate, really great weekend for him yet again. We saw that the Austin Martins, their pace, I mean, we've known this for a while now, but their pace from the start of the year is just absolutely like you wouldn't even be able to know that you wouldn't know that it's the same team. You wouldn't know that it's the same car. Yeah, so big fall off for them, big surge up for McLaren. And then, Hamilton and Leclerc joining Verstappen on the podium.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is the first time, I could be very wrong in this, in a while that we've had each representative of the big three in constructors on the podium.
I feel like it hasn't been too long. I mean, it it's kind of funny, because like you think about it, like last week is when it should have happened as well. But we had the disqualifications. I think the last time that we had a representatives of the big three on the podium, when was it exactly?
Yeah, I'm looking it up too here.
Yeah, maybe this was the first time it happened. Oh no. Well, was it? Yeah, that actually might have been the first time it happened this season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kudos. I guess just last week, but yeah, kudos to those drivers. Really nice races from Hamilton and Leclerc. Charles starting on pole, but he was never going to win that race. It was Verstappen's race to win. He ended up winning by 13 seconds, almost 14 seconds. Just he's too fast. He's too fast.
Yeah. The last time we did have a representative from the big three on the podium was the 2022 race at Circuit of the Americas. So
Okay.
little over a year.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That makes sense. It's been a very uh even though we have had the continuation of Verstappen dominating, it's been a bit of a different season in terms of who has filled in the spaces behind him. Mercedes started the year as nothing too special. Hamilton has still been getting amazing results out of that car, and George Russell has had some nice races too. But really, at the start of the year, it was Fernando Alonso showing that Aston Martin, like what he can do in that Aston Martin. Um, and then in the second part of the year, we've seen McLaren just have absurd pace on some weekends, a clear second, and Ferrari has, they've been Ferrari. They haven't they've been what Ferrari has been the past few years. They haven't been anything too special, but they've got a few podiums. It seems like the car is getting better. Leclerc is having a nice stretch of results dating back to Italy, really back to Belgium, but he retired in the Netherlands the race after. So let's
Yeah.
just say from Italy.
All right. Shall we
Yeah.
move on to the news?
Let's move on to the news.
Christian Rasmussen joins Ed Carpenter Racing for the road and street courses in the Indy 500 for 2024. Not the full-time campaign that we expected, which is disappointing because Ed Carpenter will still drive the ovals. They're parking the third car, which I mean, here's the deal. If you're looking at it from Ed Carpenter's perspective, if he wants to be top dog there, yeah, you park the third car and take the ovals in the second car. But if you're looking for from a team perspective, I would rather have 3 cars. I also I don't know if this has to deal with that if there's money involved with this.
Maybe
a lack of money to do the 4 other overall races.
There's always kind of money involved with everything in motorsports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but
now
I am happy that he's getting at least some racing, but come on. We want a full season drive for the Indy Next champion. I know that like F2 drivers don't always and it's been a bit of a more recent trend that they're not getting seats right after F2, but I think that it would help legitimize the Indy Next series as well. If Rasmussen got a straight drive right away, but yeah, at least he has a partial campaign. Better than nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Carpenter's not that great anymore. I mean, the last time he did something of note or ran well was like in 2019 or 2020. I mean, I like him. I want to see him win the Indy 500, but he's always one of the first cars to get lapped down at Iowa every year, running near the back at Texas every year. In the Indy 500, he can get top 12 out of that car, which, hey, that's good, but I don't think he has the results to be making this move. Moving on to another IndyCar So, well, a surprise. I was surprised by this because
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too
oh,
surprised. The
oh
writing was kind of on
yeah,
the wall. I was hoping that it
yeah,
wouldn't be true,
yeah.
but yeah.
We're talking about Callum Ilott splitting with Hunkos Hollinger Racing. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I would have. I mean, yeah,
I
I
really
would have.
dislike the move.
I mean, it's not Callum's decision here. It's the team's. I'm guessing they're bringing Grosjean in. I wished if they got rid of one driver, I would rather be Canapino. But I think
Yeah.
Ilott will hopefully find a drive.
Yeah,
Some,
where do we think Ilott goes from here? Yeah, Andrew.
I mean, Coin's got two cars open. We know for a fact. So I look for them to be a contender. And then the only other two team that has cars opened is Foyt. I and then maybe the fourth Andretti car if it exists. I think if I don't see the fourth Andretti car running unless it's a pay driver.
Hmm.
Because the loss of DHL, they didn't really expect that. So that I see them having to take a pay driver if they want to stay a 4 car operation, which they might not. I like Foyt because here's why. Foyt has an alliance with
Sure.
Team Penske. And Will Power,
Hmm.
as much as I love him, he is starting to get old and will likely hit his downswing soon because he's in
Hmm.
his 40s. You put Ilott in one of the Foyt seats, keep him there for a year or 2 or 3, and then bringing him up to Penske. I think he's going to be racing, or he's going to be winning races and racing for championships with Team Penske. That's what I see the future for Callum Ilott.
Yeah, I hope that's what happens because he's a very talented driver. He deserves to be in a team like that. And yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
And couple I'm gonna lump these two news pieces together. Enzo Fittipaldi set to for an IndyCar test with Dale Coyne and Teo Porcher eyeing IndyCar alongside Alfa Romeo reserve role. Um,
I
I
I didn't well, you can go first.
I I do think that both of these drivers, if they were to both race in IndyCar next year, I think this is possible the Dale Coyne lineup for next year.
Uh-huh. I could see Enzo go over to IndyCar. I mean, I don't know if it impacts his uh decision at all, but his brother just got
Mhm.
um an IndyCar drive, correct?
Yeah.
Um um and I'm not saying that Enzo Fittipaldi's days in Europe are over because they're definitely not. I mean, he's still young. He's only 22. He's backed by Red Bull, so people obviously believe in him. But he really hasn't done too much in his junior career over in Europe since kind of his F4 days, Formula Regional days. He didn't really do much in F3. I mean, he didn't exactly have a great cars. I mean, he took a Charouz up to P2 for one time in F3, which is pretty impressive. But he hasn't done an insane amount in F2. I mean, some podiums here and there, a race win, but he kind of hasn't done anything too crazy over in Europe. So I kind of like the idea of hopping across the pond, trying out IndyCar for him.
Yeah, on that, he didn't have the best car in last year. He had one of the and he did well. I thought Enzo would run P2 in the championship for F2 this year behind Teo Porsche. That was my champion what I would
Yeah,
what I was
exactly. Like
thinking. And he's
he's
kind of
like I
underwhelmed
said,
this year.
he's done a lot with the Charoux and in F3, and yeah, he had a Charoux again last year in F2, and he did nice, but yeah, this year in a Carlin, he hasn't had the most
Mhm.
impressive year, and you could probably get away with like having him return to F2 for another year. But you look at
Mhm.
that, he does return to F2, and he has a really nice season in F2 again. What are his options after that, right? Like and I guess maybe I'm being too hard on him. Like he beat his teammate Zane Maloney this year, and yeah, it's Maloney's first season in F2, but still, he's yeah. I guess I am being a little hard on him, but even if he does return to F2 next year, has a really nice year, like still, what are his options? Like he's probably not going to have an option to go up with Red Bull um to Formula One. So I like the option of him keeping. I like the idea of him keeping his options open. Is what I'm trying to say.
I do think if he goes out and dominates this year in the F2 championship, and I mean dominates
Next
or for
year,
next year. If I'm Toro Rosso, Alpha Tori, Red Bull team number 2, whatever you want to call them,
whatever they're gonna call it.
yeah, why not have him in the car next year or for
Well, it's
2025 we're talking about here. If he knocks the world
well,
out in 2024, why not have him in a car in 25 alongside uh Liam Lawson and
because it's
maybe
probably gonna
part
be
ways with
Ayumu
Yuki
Iwasa.
Tsunoda?
It's probably gonna be Iwasa who would take over Yuki
Mhm.
Tsunoda's seat
Yeah.
if Tsunoda
Mhm.
left the second Red Bull team. I think that in the pecking order of um, you know how
Yeah.
Red Bull views their juniors, they probably view Iwasa above Fittipaldi, and they probably view Dennis Hauger above Fittipaldi as well. He's 2 years younger. He hasn't had great um, F2 um, career after winning the 2021 F3 championship. Um, but he's also kind of had some. I mean, I don't follow F2 and F3 as closely as I follow F1, but from what I've heard, he hasn't exactly been the luckiest driver, and he's still 2 years younger than Fittipaldi, so they probably view him higher, um, higher than Fittipaldi as well. Um, the F2 ranks are crowded. Just the Formula F2, F3, everything is
Mhm.
crowded with Red Bull junior drivers. Um, and so that's why I think it's smart to, keep your horizons broad. And if
Mhm.
he impresses with this IndyCar test and he gets an offer to go to IndyCar, I think he should take it
Yeah.
because I mean, I've been I don't know. Yeah, I've been too harsh on him. He's a good driver, but he's if you impress in IndyCar, then you'll have interest from Formula One teams, and you might be able to get back into F1 or get into F1 if that is his ultimate goal. I mean, we've seen a lot. I mean, we haven't really seen a driver go from IndyCar to F1 in a while, but we have seen teams interested in the possibility of signing a driver away from IndyCar.
Mm-hmm.
So if F1 is the ultimate goal for Enzo, I don't think that you know, I don't think that I don't know. I don't think he should not go to IndyCar because of his F1 dreams.
Yeah, I mean, similar to what you said, if he really wants F1, I would stay one more year, but I don't think he wants that. I would not turn down an IndyCar seat. That's my opinion. And along with Théo Pourchaire, moving along, is that
Yeah.
he's not going to be in F2 next year, and
Where did
he
you see the Tail Chair IndyCar news? Because I didn't see any of that. I just saw that
I
he's looking at Super Formula, not IndyCar.
uh I don't remember where I saw it. It was probably Racer or IndyCar, or Racer or Motorsport, not IndyCar. But yeah,
Hmm,
I
okay.
mean, either of those series, Super Formula or IndyCar, it'll be good to keep yourself busy, like Liam Lawson has.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tail Chair in either of those series. I think that um I've seen that Alfa Romeo wants him to take either a Super Formula or World Endurance Championship seat just to keep him busy alongside his reserve driver roles. Um, it's worked out for Liam Lawson this year to go over to Super Formula, and then he's, you know, not this upcoming F1 season, unfortunately, but he'll be in an F1 car in 2025. So I could definitely see Chair go do something similar. He'll be in Super Formula or a different series for 2024, come back to F1 for 25.
Yeah. Eric Almirola is retiring from full-time competition, unfortunately, and he is seeking a limited schedule elsewhere in 2024. Sounds like it might be in the Xfinity series. I'd like to see him do some things. I mean, he's had a good career, 3 wins in the Cup Series.
Respectable
So
career.
yeah, he's had a good career, yeah. And then there's 3 seats left in available for the NASCAR silly season. The 16 of Colleague, the 10 Stewart-Haas car, and what I'm going to assume is the 15 Ware car. Could be either the 15 or the 51. Justin Haley will be driving one. And then an unknown driver or unknown drivers will be driving the other one. I do think it's going to be for the Rick Ware car. It's going to be a rotation of drivers, including a JJ Yaley, like maybe a couple other guys like a Brennan Poole, a road course specialist, and maybe Ryan Newman. I think that's what's going to be for that car.
Okay.
Ethan, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I will trust your expertise on this.
From what I've been hearing on the internet, sounds like Noah Gragson will be getting the 10 car for Stewart-Haas. It will be interesting to see if The Wendy's money and the Black Rifle Coffee Company follow him there because they lost the Smithfield deal because Eric Almirola is leaving. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think you'd think any different, Ethan.
No.
And then finally, the 16 Colleague car, which no one really knows. I do see that Ty Dillon is a front runner for it. I've heard AJ Allmendinger might be back, might not be. I can't think of anyone else at the moment that might be driving that car. Maybe like Justin Allgaier's. Actually, Allgaier will be back at Junior Motorsports, so that won't happen. But I don't see anyone else possibly driving that car. I want it to be AJ Allmendinger. He's won twice for them as the team's only career Cup wins. I don't want to see Ty Dillon in the Cup Series anymore. We know who he is. He's not good. He's going to, whoever you put alongside him, he's going to make that driver look way better than him. So I don't want to see Ty Dillon in the Cup Series anymore. He hasn't done anything of note. That's just my opinion. I don't know about you, Ethan.
No, I don't disagree.
And then one last bit of NASCAR news here. NASCAR will not repossess the 51 Rick Ware Racing Charter if it finishes in the bottom three, currently 36 back to get out of the bottom three. I don't see that car gaining 36 points total in the finale. But yeah, I do think it's a good move by NASCAR because Rick Ware,
so
they're competing. Now is that they've signed Justin Haley, they've signed Ryan Newman to part-time basis. They've got an alliance with RFK. They're trying to make that program better. But if you had asked me that 3 years ago, should NASCAR repossess one of the charters? I would say yes, because they weren't doing anything at that time.
All right. So can you explain for all the viewers and me what the NASCAR repossession what's that deal?
All right. So back when NASCAR created well, let me explain the charter system. The charter system basically has 36 charters that are basically equivalent to franchises in the NFL. And that if you have one, you're guaranteed to race, guaranteed a spot in all the races. So those at the start of when they first announced this back in 2016, they were worth maybe not $1 million, but they've gone up. So now that the prices are $40 million, so that's interesting about how they've grown. And the repossession zone is NASCAR had, if you finish in the bottom three of the chartered cars in owners points for 3 years, NASCAR would have the opportunity to repossess the charter and give it to someone else, just to keep the competition up. They wanted to eliminate start and parkers because they wanted to see, they'd rather have 36 cars trying to race the whole race instead of 35 cars or racing and one guy just pulling off after 6 laps.
Yeah.
That clear it up for you?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's NASCAR, I think, correctly chose to not repossess the charter. So got 3 series racing this week. NASCAR, F1, and WEC. We talked about the WEC Bahrain race in our first episode because I don't know the difference between October and November. So if you want to hear all that, go watch the first episode. But I will say our picks for that race were, I took the 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing and Hypercar. Ethan took the 7. In LMP2, I took the 22 United, and Ethan took the 41 Team WRT. In LMGT EM, I took the 33 Corvette. He took the 4F Corsa Ferrari. So, let's just do this in reverse order of the screen. Ethan, let's take us through Sao Paulo. That's where F1 is racing this week.
Yes, sir. So it's another sprint weekend. It's no new calendar this year, so it is not the second to last race. It is the race before the penultimate race, because of course we now have Las Vegas. Sao Paulo should still be the last race in my opinion. Don't come at me. Nobody probably will come at me because everyone agrees with me. But as for the race, we know we know the Mercedes do well here. The McLarens are probably going to do well here as well. But, Max Verstappen.
Mm-hmm.
And due to said Max Verstappen, I have Max Verstappen winning the sprint race because, yes, this is another sprint weekend. Woohoo.
And the crowd goes mild. I'm also taking Max Verstappen to a win. And in the pick points, Ethan's beating me 47-38, but there is 10 different things that we're picking. So this is a big swing for things because there's 10 things this week, and there's a total of 6 things left after this week. 6 races.
Is the Andrew comeback loading? We'll see.
This is the week I gotta make a charge up from 38 points up to closer to your 47.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the sprint to get second place, I'm going to say a certain 7-time champion by the name of Lewis Hamilton will be second.
I also agree with that. Lewis Hamilton always does well around Brazil. He is practically an honorary Brazilian. They love him there. He loves it there. He'll be P2.
I'm also for the main race, I'm gonna say Max Verstappen wins. Ethan, do you want to announce your pick?
Yeah, my pick is Lewis Hamilton to finish second in the main race. And, we're not doing points on it, but I'll say Lando Norris will finish third.
How many stops is the Sao Paulo race?
I don't know, man.
All right.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to go with a Mercedes driver to finish second, but not the one you said. I'm going to go with the one that won here last year. George Russell is going to finish second.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. And the last race,
it's probably going to be a 2-stop race.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Yeah.
And the last race we have, our last series racing is NASCAR. We got the Truck Xfinity Cup, and then there's also ARCA West racing for their championship, but no one really cares about ARCA, period. Yeah. In the 3 championship races at Phoenix, the champion has won 2 of them. And 2020 Sheldon Creed won, and 2022 Zane Smith won. The one year that it was not the case was when Ben Rhodes won the championship in 2021, and Chandler Smith won the race. Our championship for the truck race are Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, Ben Rhodes, and Grant Enfinger. I am going to go. Well, I'm going to say a playoff driver will win.
Okay.
And I'm also going to say the most dominant driver of the season will win. That is Corey Heim. That's who I think is going to win. That's what I think. Ethan?
I believe it is going to be Mr. Ben Rhodes. My reasoning is he finished second there last year, and he is on a good streak of races right now. I'm hoping he can carry that momentum and repeat what he did last year, but one spot better.
If he does win the race or championship, I think we're all hoping for another drunk Ben Rhodes press conference. Got to get as he put it, the vibrations are good.
Oh yeah, looking for some good vibrations.
Yeah. Moving on to the Xfinity Series, you have Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek, and Cole Custer, the final four. And the three races that Phoenix has hosted here in the with the championship, the champion has gone on to win the race with Austin Cindric in 2020, Daniel Hemrick in 2021, and Ty Gibbs in 2022. The last time the champion didn't win the final race was in 2017, where Cole Custer won the race and William Byron won the championship. So, with that being said, I'm also going to say that the winner of the championship will be the race winner. I will go with, I'm going to say John Hunter Nemechek.
As your race winner and
champion, yeah.
Okay, all right. I am going to go with Mr. Justin Allgaier. Why exactly? I don't have any
He won the race here in 2019.
Yeah, I don't have any crazy reasoning. He's done well there in the past. I guess it's kind of a bit of my same reasoning as with Ben Rhodes. He has momentum, hoping he can carry it through Phoenix.
Yeah. The thing about Allgaier is he just is never he hasn't done it yet, and he's an Xfinity Series lifer. And yeah. I feel like he should have done it by now, and that reason I'm not going to pick him out.
That's fair.
Yeah. And for the Cup Series, I will actually be at the Xfinity Series race.
There we go. Yeah, just a little bit down the road from us. Well, a little bit more than just a little bit down the road, but you get the point.
Yeah, not too far from here. And then finally, the Cup Series race. In the entire history of this format, the one race format, the champion has always won at Phoenix. The playoff drivers are Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. I will say William Byron will win the championship. However, the trend is going to change We will not have a Final Four driver winning the race. I am going to go with Kevin Harvick to win on his final race in the Cup Series. The Cactus King returns to his cactus throne once again.
I'll give that a round of applause. His first win of the season being in his last race. That would be a story. That would be really cool to see. First win of the season. Oh, no, did he win one already this season?
He's been winless this year.
Yeah, he has been winless this year. Okay. Yeah. So that would be a cool story. I'm not bucking any trends with my pick. I believe that your winner and new Cup Series champion winning his first ever Cup Series after his previous best finish only being 7th, which, not 7th is still pretty good, but it's not first, Mr. Ryan Blaney.
Yeah. That's who I'm rooting for. I mean, I want to see. Well, as a Blaney fan, I would love to see that. I don't know about you, Ethan.
Yeah, I do like William Byron as well, but out of all these guys, I would like to see. I don't have as much of a fandom as you do for Ryan Blaney, but I do like Ryan Blaney. So yeah, either him or William Byron, I would be happy. I mean, those are probably my yeah. Those are my top 2 guys out of the 4 remaining. But I am gonna go with Ryan Blaney.
And for Xfinity, I don't really have a stake in the matter. As long as it's not John Hunter Nemechek who I picked to win. That's the only guy. I mean, I like the other 3, but I don't really root for any of the other 3. I don't know about you, Ethan.
No, I don't. So just to get this straight, though, you picked John Hunter Nemechek, but you're gonna be actively rooting against your pick.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Well, I mean, I normally don't have much of a fandom, but for this upcoming Truck Series and Cups Xfinity Series finale, I'm the biggest Ben Rhodes and Justin Allgaier fans there are.
And then for the other,
I'm trying to win the pick points championship, Andrew. This is a big deal.
Yeah, a huge stake in the matter here. And then honestly, for the truck guys, I like all the truck guys. They have all have good stories behind them. I mean, something that we didn't mention, I forgot to mention, is that we have GMS and Kyle Busch Motorsports won't be around next season.
Yeah.
And I grew up on those teams dominating, with Kyle Busch winning his 5 races a year, and then GMS having a lot of great drivers through their program over the years. Johnny Sauter winning the championship one year. I'm going to miss those 2 teams in the Truck Series. I'll say that. You can that has been. Do you have any final thoughts, Ethan?
No thoughts.
No thoughts.
Just as we wrap up, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Make sure to follow, subscribe, this, that, the other thing, and keep tuning in to the pod.
Yeah. YouTube, Blaze, somewhere on blazeradio.com. I don't have the page saved, but we're on there. You can find us. I found us the other day. So yeah. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you for episode 6, where we recap all the madness from this week. There's going to be madness.
Yeah. I mean, there's 3 championship deciders and the Brazilian Grand Prix.
And
And WAC
yeah,
championship deciders as well. There's going to be some bonkers stuff to go and talk about this time next week.
goodbye,
So
everyone.
stay tuned. Goodbye.